Hey, what's up guys? It's ex-mormon with My Spiritual Life, and today we are talking about making decisions, which I am not very good at, but getting better, and let's see if we can all get better together. Growing up in either an unhealthy family dynamic or with a high demand religion, you can sometimes get locked into this very black and white way of thinking. And with every choice, there's a right answer and a wrong answer. And when you see everything in black and white, it becomes very scary to feel like you're probably going to make the wrong decision and maybe not even know what it is. I felt very traumatized around making decisions growing up because I had this fear that somehow I would not come to the correct conclusion about what decision I needed to make, especially if it was like a big decision. But even little decisions like what class to sign up for. Should I take AP biology or regular biology? And my thoughts were always spinning around like somehow this decision was going to lead to the road to hell or to heaven, and it was just so much pressure. I felt so much pressure around decision making, and it made me want to procrastinate. It made me really stressed out, and it made me really uncomfortable in trying to make decisions. And I constantly was wanting to just give my authority away to other people so that they could make the decision for me. And it's really hard living with that fear, that constant fear that you're going to screw everything up. For me, it was just very deeply ingrained fear that like one wrong decision was just going to throw me off of the right path and into some horrible thing like, probably an ex-mormon YouTube channel. So, Anyway, in this video, I really want to talk about why I think this happens and what I've been doing to try to improve the situation with my decision making. I think one of the reasons why we struggle to make decisions when we come from this kind of background is because we're not taught to trust ourselves. We're taught to put all of the trust and authority in other people. And that has some pros that comes with it, right? Because if you are trusting other people to make decisions for you, you don't have to feel bad if things don't work out. You don't have to punish yourself that you made a wrong decision because you didn't really make the decision. It's much easier to blame God when things go wrong because you're like, well, I guess God just wanted it to be this way. I guess God just wanted me to go to this college as opposed to this one, and then I dropped out, so I guess God just wanted me to drop out. I don't know. I don't question God. God's ways are higher than my ways. If you don't trust yourself, it's impossible to make big decisions because you're always going to be questioning yourself whether or not it's the right one. I think another big reason why we struggle to make decisions when we come from this kind of background is that we are afraid of upsetting people around us. I think it's ingrained in us very deeply to want the acceptance and approval of our tribe or our community. And so I think we're constantly overanalyzing things and thinking that a certain decision is going to drive people to reject us or to see us differently. And I think that is a major player in our decision-making issues as well. And this last reason I wanted to bring up, I don't really know how to explain it, but all I can say is like there's just this belief in my head that if I choose the wrong thing, everything is just going to explode and be ruined forever to never be fixed ever again. And that's really exhausting, trying to carry that kind of mentality around when I'm an adult and I have to make decisions about things. So I've been working through this and I feel like it's gotten a lot better in the last couple years, but I wanted to share a more recent story with this, and it has to do with having my baby that I recently had. What you need to know is that me and Jared decided to get induced with our second son, the one that I just recently had that's super cute. I'm not going to get into why, like medically and everything, we decided to do that, but we did. We decided to get induced, and like the week leading up to my induction date, I kept hoping that I would go into labor naturally because I didn't want to have to feel bad if I ended up having to get induced. And I felt like I was going to feel bad about it because it just felt like a decision that was so uncomfortable to make. Like there's all this pressure, like the day that your baby's born is like going to affect so many things. In my mind, it felt like it was going to affect like so many things, right? And I was just so scared of like picking the wrong day to get induced. Like, what would happen? And like, what if the baby's not ready? But they don't really let you get induced before the baby's ready. So the day before my induction day comes, and I'm freaking out because I'm like, what if I'm getting induced on the wrong day? And like, what if he's not ready? And like, what if, like, how am I supposed to make this kind of decision? And I kept thinking of all the reasons why that next day was just the absolute worst day possible to get induced. And they weren't like super rational reasons, but I had myself really convinced that I was just a bad person for trying to get induced. I was scared. I was really scared that somehow this was going to negatively impact the baby or the baby's health or the baby's like personality or something. Like, felt like I was, taking, like, isn't a baby being born supposed to be something like God decides when that happens or something? Just like in my head, I was really, really struggling. And as I was going through this circular thinking game in my head, I was realizing like everything I was thinking of was why that next day was the absolute worst day to have a baby, right? Like I was coming up with as many reasons as I could that next day was just terrible. And it was because I was just so afraid that it was the wrong decision. And so I was analyzing that, and I was like, seriously, like all I can think of is this negative stuff. But what if, and this is where I had like a really cool turning point. I was like, what if tomorrow was the perfect day to have this baby? What if tomorrow was the best day to have this baby? And it was just this really cool moment where I felt like I took my power back in the situation. And instead of thinking that God or someone else like knows better about what day to have this baby, like maybe I know what day is good to have this baby, considering I'm the one that's having the baby. You would think if anyone had a say that should be important or should, hold some leverage, it would be me. God's never been pregnant before, so he doesn't get a say. Anyway, so I had this moment where I felt like I kind of took my power back and I said, you know what? This is my decision to make. And I think tomorrow is the perfect day to have a baby. What if tomorrow is the perfect day to have a baby? And I kept asking myself that. So then I started to think of like a bunch of positive things that would happen. Like I wouldn't be pregnant anymore. Wow, that would be great. And it was really convenient with Jared's work schedule. And with the baby's size, it was going to be better than if the baby got even bigger, which he was 8 pounds, 1 ounce. So it was a good thing we got that baby out of there. I felt like it was really interesting to see this play out because I felt like my soul was being tormented. And then I got in there and I thought really deeply about it. And I pulled... pulled some strings in my brain and said, you know what, I want to look at this differently. And I did, and it was so exciting and it was so cool. And I feel like this is the foundation I've tried to lay for myself as far as making decision goes, is when I'm freaking out about it, to question it and to keep questioning it until I feel like I get to the bottom of what's really bothering me. And what was really bothering me was like thinking that this was going to have this huge, possibly negative impact on my child when I could convince myself that just didn't make sense, that like that could be the perfect day for him to be born. It all just kind of, I don't know, it all just kind of like let go and I just relaxed. And then it felt really empowering. Like, what if tomorrow is the perfect day to have a baby? It felt empowering. Like I'm making this decision And so why wouldn't it be the perfect day? And that's not to say that things couldn't have gone wrong, but it was the perfect day. It was awesome. And I was proud of myself, and it was hard, but it turned out really well. And I'm grateful that I was able to emotionally work through that before the baby came, so that then during the labor and everything, I wasn't worried like if I was making the wrong decision. I was just like, I'm excited to meet my baby today, so it made a big difference in my attitude going into having the baby, that I had kind of cleared any like concerns that I was having beforehand. So anyway, if you are struggling with making a decision right now, you're not alone. It's hard to get out of that black and white thinking. And it's especially hard because sometimes we don't know until after if something is the wrong decision. But then we have to just remember that we're not mind readers or future tellers or any of those things. And so sometimes we just have to assume that our decision is right until we know better. And that's okay, because at least we're going to go into it with a more positive attitude. If you haven't joined my Facebook yet, please click below to join my Facebook and answer this prompt, or you can answer it below. What fears come up for you when you are struggling to make a decision? Comment it below, comment in the Facebook group. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time.